Hi everyone, here we are again. It's time to focus on the Boks. My name is Mark Stephenson and I'm interviewing Dan Retief. Dan, welcome back home. Tell us what your thoughts are for the weekend.
Thank you, Mark, and it's been some time. I had a look the last time we had a chat. It was the time of the British and Irish Lions. It was Russygate. Russie was in trouble with World Rugby, and that's where we ended our little discussion for a while. And guess what we've been through since then? We joined the URC, the United Rugby Championship, and it didn't start too well. But at the end, two South African sides in the final. The Stormers become the first URC champions, so that's very good for South African rugby. I'm sure we all enjoyed it. We came through the time of COVID. We're now going into full stadiums. In amongst that, the Griquas and the Pumas produced a magical Currie Cup final. A little word to South African rugby, don't forget about the Platteland. Yeah. And now we're into the July tests. Our opponents will be Wales, who have arrived, who've been up in the Highveld. They've been training. The Springboks have been named. And the Springboks have done what most people expected. They've gone with the tried and tested, the people they rely on. It's an amazing Springbok side when you look at it from another perspective, that 13 different entities are represented in the Springbok side. So that's English clubs, French clubs, South African clubs, and 5 Japanese clubs. So the boys have come from all corners of the globe, but they're ready, they've been in camp, and they seem well settled. So a standard side. Jacques Nienaber is not adventurous when it comes to selection, so there might be some oddities, but I see what he's doing. For instance, the big problem in the Springboks at the moment is fly half. We're really worried who's going to be the next fly half after Andre Pollard or Elton Jantjies. Jantjies has got the nod for this test because he's been in camp. He managed to get rid of the little legal problem that he was faced with, and Pollard is back. But funny enough, Pollard has been really battling injuries, and then he came back from Montpellier. But it was interesting that the Italian fly half, Paolo Garbisi, played ahead of Pollard for Montpellier, and Pollard came off the bench, but he's there, he's in camp. An interesting selection, of course, for us is Damian Willemse at fullback. It seems to be that what they're doing with Damian, I thought when they moved him to inside centre at URC, they'd found his best position, but he's clearly being looked at as the man for all positions. In other words, to take over the mantle of Frans Steyn and cover the backline positions other than scrum half, so that we can play a 6-2 split on the bench, because that's our great strength, is the forwards that come off the bench. And then we can use Willie Leroux. He's not in the side, he's on the bench, but he often takes the role of a roving fly half, key player. Damien Delende's played fly half, Cheslin Colby's played fly half, so we're not too bad there. And then we have our forwards, the best 2-packs in the world. So we do the old Dani Craven, Mark Voorzag in Slaan Later, and that's what we're going to do now, you know. And certainly I think our front row that comes off the bench is arguably the best front row in world rugby. So we will play pretty much our standard rugby, Faf de Kleur kicking from the base. And then Wales. There's a lot of talk about Wales being weak, and they had a poor URC, and they didn't have a good Six Nations, but the Springboks won't underestimate them. Jacques Nienaber's got great respect for the Welsh. We were very worried about them in the World Cup. And we only narrowly beat them when we were on tour last year. So the Welsh are not like the English. They feel they can't just suppress them, they'll keep coming. They've had a lot of injuries, but they have some tremendous players. The other point I wanted to make about Springbok rugby, there seems to be a view out here that we, the unconquerable Springboks, that we're the super side. Funny enough, the stats don't show that. Since winning the World Cup, we've played 13 times, won 8, lost 5. That's not a great record. And we've lost twice to Australia, once to the All Blacks, once to the British Lions, and once to England. And I know that rankles. The Springboks don't like losing. So now we go into Loftus. I think all the odds favour the Springboks. It's at altitude on a hardish field. So I'm going for a Springbok win. And then what I'm looking forward to, if it's good victory, that we then take it from there and start blooding new players. And if you survive this weekend with the All Blacks against Ireland, with the English against the Wallabies, with the Scots against the Pumas, and with Japan against France, good luck to you, but up the Boks.
Thanks, Dan. Great to be back. Bye-bye.